In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build the new super smelter that Mumbo Jumbo recently built for his industrial district on Hermitcraft Season 7. These are all the materials you'll need to build the super smelter. You can pause the video accordingly. And if you like what you see in this tutorial, then consider dropping a like and hitting that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers. That'd be very much appreciated. To start this thing, you're going to get a storage system built here, and you can expand this as much as you want. It doesn't actually have to be this size. The storage system is completely up to you, but we're just going to start with 12 double chests here, and then we're going to have hoppers coming into the back of all of them. And then we can place glass up here, glass over here, and glass at the back area here as well. Now we can add 3 stone bricks onto this, and we can have ice here and ice there. We can bring the glass all the way to this area, and we can place a slab above that ice. And then we can take a water bucket and place a water bucket right there. Now right here we can go out 5 blocks before we have more ice. Then we can go 8 blocks here before we have one other piece of ice. Let's see, 6, 8, there we go, more packed ice. Then another 8 blocks here before we have more ice. Let's see, that should be 8, yep. And then we're going to have 8 more blocks coming out here. This is the collection area for one of the rows of furnaces. And finally, we have one more line of 8 blocks here and no ice at the side. And then we're going to get a row of glass, and we're just going to bring this all the way across to the other side here. Actually, I have a long ways to go. Connect that up like that. Then we're going to place a slab on top of every piece of ice on this area here. Now from this block of ice we can go out 8 blocks in this direction and then have a piece of packed ice, and then we can go out 2 more blocks like that. So if we count 5 blocks over, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can have a piece of ice right there. And then we can just start bringing these blocks out here. We're going to make this go 5 blocks like we did over there, and then just have another piece of packed ice on the same block line, and then we can just start bringing this out. Have packed ice there on the same line, and then we can just bring this to the same length. So it's going to be packed ice on all the same blocks, basically on all 3 of these collection areas. And we're going to bring all of this to the very end here, so just go ahead and build it all the way out until all 3 of these are the same length. And we can go ahead and place glass at the end there, and then just make a glass wall that goes all the way back to the end of this line here, just like we did before. And then we can just connect this up just like that with glass, and then we can do the same thing here. We can have a big line of glass going all the way to the very end, and then just a piece of glass out there at this end like that. And now we can also go ahead and take a slab and place a slab on every single piece of ice, like this, the top slab. Including these areas here, there needs to be a slab on those areas as well. And there we go. We can now come over here and connect that up with glass, and we can connect this side up with glass as well and bring it out to here. Although we won't actually need this corner piece here. We will be having glass over here though. So now for the auto dropper unloading systems, we're going to be using design that's slightly different from what Mumbo did, because it's actually a super easy design that just uses the target block and a bit of redstone. It's a little bit easier to build, and it doesn't take up quite as much space. And we're just going to be using this design instead because it's a little bit easier. So to start with, we're going to place a dropper right here beside this glass, and we're going to have a target block next to it. And then we're going to count 8 blocks over with glass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 before we have another dropper and another target block. And then another 8 blocks of glass before we have our 3rd automatic dropper system. They're basically placed every 10 furnaces just to make sure that like no items ever get stuck or backed up anywhere. And then our 4th one is going to be another 8 blocks down the line here. We'll get our dropper, get our target block. And then we're just going to bring this down all the way to 1 block from the end. We're going to have our dropper, and then the target blocks can actually be as a corner block there. And so now you're going to build the same thing on all other 2 sides, with everything being in the same place and spaced out the same way. There you go. Now that you have that, we can actually build the little circuit that unloads everything. It's quite simple, and I'm going to show you how to build one of them, and you're going to build all the rest of them. So we're going to come down here. We're going to take 6 slabs like this. We're going to have a redstone comparator coming out of the back of this dropper. We're going to have a repeater there, leave it just on 1 tick, and then just place redstone on the rest of that. So now that just will auto drop like that, and that's how you build one of these things. You're going to build one off of every single one of these auto dropping systems. So it looks like I messed up the spacing here just a tiny bit. Let's fix that. And there we go. All of these are done. Now what you're going to want to do is go above these dropping areas and place 2 blocks right there. Right here we're going to have 3 blocks. It's basically 1 block directly above this this dropper here, and then 1 on either side. We're going to do that over here as well. This is to make sure no items get dispensed or dropped out of the actual water channel, because that can happen sometimes if you don't put a covering over this. We only need 2 blocks there as well. You're going to do the same thing on all 3 of these rows, and then we're going to put in some water. Although right here at the very end you actually do have to have 3 blocks, because there's not like this little area here that protects against that. So on the very final row here you have to have 3. Now that we have that, we can take some water buckets and we can just place a water bucket here. And we can go all the way over here, place a water bucket in there, place a water bucket, let's see, right here. Basically 1 water bucket before or after, I guess, every single one of these slabs, so that it all flows down in that direction. We're going to do that on this side as well, water bucket here. I think you get the idea, so just go ahead and fill all these with water buckets. Actually, these sides might be slightly different, so here you are actually going to have a water bucket. That'll flow right there, then a water bucket here. That's just going to take it all the way to the end. Now it's just the same, so go ahead and fill in the rest of the water here. And there we go. All of our unloading systems are complete, so now let's go ahead and start building the actual furnaces for the super smelter. So what you're going to want to do is start over here, place a dropper facing straight down into that, and then you're going to do that on top of every single dropper here. And then once you've done that, you can go ahead and place in on this side 2 hoppers facing into this hopper right here, as we have over there. And then you're just going to go down the line placing in hoppers leading toward like the end of the super smelter, and it's all just going to go into the ones facing straight down. There should be 9 of them per time, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Yep. Alright, so we just did that here, and this is what it should look like when you're all done. You're going to do that on the other 2 sides now, and then we're going to add in the furnaces. Okay, now that we have our rows of hoppers, we're going to start placing in furnaces. So on this row here, furnaces are going to face in that direction, and on this row they're going to face in this direction, but here they're going to face this way. So you're going to place 1 furnace on every single hopper here on all 3 rows, which should equal 2 stacks plus 1, or 129 items in the super smelter. Alright, now that we have all furnaces in, you can place in 1 hopper on top of every single furnace. You can do this for all 3 rows, and when we're done with that, we're going to add even more hoppers in. So just go ahead and put the hoppers on top now. Alrighty, so now that we have that on this row here, you're going to place in hoppers facing into those furnaces. Right here you're going to do the same, and right here they're going to go in the opposite direction, but still facing into those furnaces there. And so we're going to do this on all 3 rows on every single furnace. Luckily this is basically the last like major rows of hoppers we have to add. Okay, so now that we have all these hoppers in right here, we're going to have 3 stone bricks. There are going to be 2 that come out in this direction, and we're going to get a double chest right here, and then we're going to get slabs here, and we're going to actually bring these slabs literally all the way down here to the very end of this row of furnaces. And then we're going to add slabs onto this row of furnaces, or this row of furnaces with the hoppers here. They're just basically going to be covering the tops of the hoppers that add the fuel in. And we're going to finally do 1 more row of those on this side as well. Now if we go over to this end here, we're going to go up a block with stone bricks and then bring this down till we get to this row of hoppers over here. And then if we go over to this end right here, we're going to go up with a row of stone bricks and bring it down to that row of hoppers right there. Now coming off of these hoppers here, we're going to have 4 stone bricks like that kind of surrounding the chest. Right here we're going to get a piece of packed ice with a slab above it, and then we're going to add 6 stone bricks onto the end of this before we have another bit of packed ice with a slab on top of it. Now we're just going to run a line of stone bricks here all the way to the end. We're going to end up putting packed ice into here after a little bit, but for now we'll just make it a row of stone bricks. And we're going to have a row of stone bricks on this side as well. We're going to bring this all the way down to the very end here in the other direction. We're going to extend the side out 2 additional blocks and have it go all the way over here until it's right next to this line of hoppers here, and we're going to run this all the way to the very end. And then at the very end we're just going to leave it like that. Over here we can actually add 3 more blocks onto there so that we can actually just connect up those 2 lines. And then right here, we're going to have just a big line of glass separating these 2 areas for the bamboo to flow down. And this glass can come all the way out here, and we can actually just have it go around in this direction. And now right here we can have a double chest, and over here we need to have a double chest right here. This actually needs to be brought out an additional block like that with the glass getting extended. And now we can add glass here, and we can add slabs to that side. And then if we go over here, we can add a slab here before we put in glass to separate this area, and then we can just have a line of glass going down this side of it as the back wall for this water stream. At the very end here, we can just have just a piece of glass just sort of blocking the end of that because it doesn't need to go anywhere else after that. So now right here, this is going to be the bamboo input, so you can put 2 chests on top of this area right here. We can have 2 glass blocks here, and we can have a border here of glass, border here of glass like this, and a glass block at the back. This is going to be where you put in your bamboo or whatever fuel you're using. You can place a fence gate there. We can place in water here. So that's basically where I stopped this part of the tutorial for this section, because you can just build water streams or whatever else you want to link up to the input here, because I'm not like including a bamboo farm here. But you can extend this glass out to here, and then we can get water bucket and place water bucket right there. We can place a water bucket here, and then at the very end here where it stops flowing, we can add packed ice with a slab above it and then water. We can go down here, do the same thing, and have more water. Let's see, packed ice, slab, water, and when we get to this end here, we can have the same thing. And then here we need to have the water flow in a kind of specific way. So we're going to have packed ice right here with a slab, and then water going right in that direction because it has to flow against that double chest. And then here we can have our packed ice again with our slab. And so I'm going to go down to this end here, and then I'll show you how to do like the tricky stuff with making it work properly against that chest. Alright, so right here we're going to have our packed ice and our slab, and we can put our water down. And then just right here we're going to replace that with packed ice, have our slab there, and then our water so it flows against the chest. Now we can just bring this down to the very end the same way that you saw before, so just go ahead and do that. And then the input system for the fuel will be done. And at the very end here, because this water barely doesn't reach, you can replace the last 2 blocks with packed ice like that. And if you want to, you can actually just like take a piece of netherrack, or just like, depending on if you have fire tick on, you can just put a block there, light it on fire, get lava or something just to destroy excess items. So you could easily do that if you wanted to. But now moving on, we're going to replace this block here with a redstone block. And we're going to get a piece of redstone, like a redstone block there, and we're going to get a redstone block here as well. And in this area, we're going to bring up 2 slabs and get some redstone dust there. And then here, we're going to have redstone and 2 slabs like that. And now we can take some normal rails and place the normal rails on that area. And we can go over here and place the normal rails on this area. But now we can take powered rails, and we can put powered rails on top of all of these hoppers here. We can bring this down to the very end until we get to this redstone block there, and that will power that. And we can bring powered rails down in this direction as well till we get to that side. And at the very end there, that will connect up like that. And we can go to this side and take powered rails down to the very end as well. Now, if we go over here, we can take a few slabs and place those slabs there. And we can get a hopper right there, and we can get a comparator, place a comparator there and a comparator there. We can get another rail here. We can go up a block there, place power rail up there, and place a detector rail right there. We can place another block there, another block up here. We can get the powered rail up there and place a lever underneath this and have it just be on. Now we can go down here with some glass, go down here with glass, glass there, and glass above that. And here we can place a stone brick. We can have glass on the other 3 sides. Now we can go up 11 blocks on all these sides. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We'll bring these other sides up, except for this side right here in the back. That can go up for 12 blocks. And now what we can do is take concrete and place concrete here. It doesn't actually have to be concrete. That's just what we're using. And we can just step down all the way until we get to the other side here. All the way until we get to right here where this is just basically right above this side here. And now if we go over here, we can get 2 blocks of concrete on this side, and then we can go out 3 blocks down there. And now we can add a 4th block and then just take this block line and go all the way out along the rest of the super smelter. This will be the return track for the minecarts, and do this until we are parallel with our stair step down. So what we can do now is just bring this down like that, add an extra block there. This is for a normal rail, and then we can just add powered rails up the rest of this whole thing here, including on the glass. And then if we take a redstone block right here, it's about halfway in between it. And if you've done this correctly, then all the rails here on our elevator for the minecart should be powered. Now you can just place powered rails on top of this entire line of concrete here until we can get this area connected up, and then our minecart rails will basically be done. Obviously right here on the corner we need a normal rail, and then we can just have powered rails on the rest of this area. You can place a redstone block right there, and then a redstone block here, and redstone block there. And then here you can place a redstone block, and a redstone block again. And then here, redstone block to power all that stuff. Alright, so our next redstone block can go 2 blocks to the right of that ice down there, which would be right there. Yep, so that powers all that. Then our next one is on a line with that target block down there. And then we can place just one in the corner like that. That'll power everything. Now let us build the circuits here for our minecart system, and then we're done. So you're going to place in 4 blocks here and then go out 1 block in that direction. You can place in a solid block there. You can place a torch right there and get a sticky piston on top of that torch, and then we can just place a block there. And then we can have another block up there. We can place a comparator on it. The comparator can go like that, and we'll get ourselves a double chest up there. And then down here in the side you can place another comparator. I actually had to add this stuff after I did some testing, and I was having a lot of problems with just Mumbo's design. So this is stuff that I added to make it work a little bit better and more reliably. So you can add a comparator down there, repeater there, piece of redstone right there, solid block, and then redstone up here. And you can place a block here, and then we'll get some redstone up there before we add 2 more glass there and a solid block like up there. And then we run redstone on top of all of that. Then we can place redstone there, and then a repeater right there, and then a repeater there set to 3 ticks. Then at the back of this comparator here, we can have a solid block, and then we can place in a sticky piston right here with an observer facing outward like that. Then we can have a block up here, and 3 blocks down there we can place in redstone thus there. And then just a repeater there set to 1 tick. I did not mean to delete that. And then you can get a fence gate, place the fence gate inside that. Then right here we can have a solid block. We can take a sticky piston, place a sticky piston there, and have an observer on it facing outward. I think that might be everything. Let me check. Nope, not quite. Now out here we need to have another block with redstone on it, and we need to get a sticky piston. Let's see, off of this. It has to be right there facing straight down. Come on. There we go. And there needs to be a block right there underneath the sticky piston. Alright, so now we are all set here, except in this hopper we need to add 2 stacks of miscellaneous blocks. You can just add dirt, it doesn't matter specifically what you add, you just need to add 2 stacks into that hopper. Now I believe we are ready to give this a try, so let's just load some minecarts into here. So what you can do is basically fill up this entire tube if you want to with minecarts. You don't have to load a specific number, obviously, until like the tube would overflow. So how many even is that? That's probably like a little over 10 right there. So you can probably fit around 15 minecarts into there. And so let's say we wanted to smelt some items, so we just placed in some stone into there. That'll send off a minecart. The minecart will load exactly 2 stacks plus 1 item, as we saw there. And then it just sends off immediately another minecart to fill up with items. Meanwhile, we can watch this minecart running around this this track here, and if we check in the furnaces, it's placing 1 item in all the furnaces, but now there's going to be 2 items from that minecart. If we check here, we should have a block there, and that is completely empty. If we watch this, we should be getting 2 blocks in there, so these will have returned now. But here's where the tricky part comes in, because this circuit here is keeping this thing from dispensing another minecart once this is empty, because that's normally how it would work without this circuit. But because there's not enough items in here to actually make this trigger, this minecart is being held until more items are added. So if we were to add another stack of blocks in there, that would fill up until that got sent off. But then this thing here is still stuck with a little bit less, so it's basically just waiting for more items to be put into here. So one thing to be aware of with this is that occasionally, for some reason, I have done extensive testing on this, so I'm not quite sure why, but it will load 5 additional items into a hopper. Happens maybe about every 10 times or something, meaning that it ends up just having a little bit too much to put in all at once, and then when it comes back around, like whenever that minecart makes it back to be filled again, it'll just end up putting like less in from the chest, I guess. So that's one thing to be aware of with this thing. But obviously here we aren't actually smelting anything because we don't have any items in here, so you would obviously need to put a lot of fuel in this thing, in this case bamboo. So I'm not going to fill this entire thing up for a demonstration, but as you can see, that just put the bamboo into these places here, and they're actually going to start smelting. The easiest place for me to show you that is over there, where everything is actually fully loaded with bamboo. But you can see if we watch this, this is just going to make it all the way to the end there. And so if we go over here, this is what it would be like when it actually is completely full of bamboo. So let's take some items to smelt in here. We'll do that, and I'll send off a minecart. All of these have a lot of bamboo in them. So if we watch this, that's going to go along here. It's going to continue picking up the items. And pretty soon we should have stuff getting dispensed down here, I would imagine. Yep. There goes our cracked stone bricks. And you can actually see that throughout the entire areas for the smelting. And it's all coming back down here. That just sent off another thing. And that minecart's going to sit there. It does not have enough items to get sent off. So all the minecarts are going to return. Looks like several of them are still out. That's fully empty. That's good. This one's going to get fully empty. Yep. There we go. And so we can just see that there's tons of items constantly making it back here. And that's actually stuff I've smelted before in testing. You can tell that I've tested this a lot. That's obviously not supposed to be there, but I have done a lot of testing on this thing. So that is how you build Mumbo Jumbo's super smelter. Not counting a bamboo farm. I've actually made tutorials for bamboo farms. One of them actually is Mumbo, so if you're interested in that, you can check that out. It is the same one that he built in his industrial district that he's using to fuel this thing, so I'll actually link that down in the description if you want to go see that for yourselves. But there will also be a world download for this if you are interested in checking it out for yourself. And there'll be a link to Mumbo's video down in the description as well. But if you like this tutorial, then consider dropping a like and hitting that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, and I need your help with that. That'd be very much appreciated. That's going to be all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. I've been Sbeev, and I'll see you in the next video or live stream. Bye.